There's a lot of doom and gloom talk about the housing market lately.
Housing market doesn't have a heartbeat.
Yes, rates are still high. Yes, there are still problems with affordability.
Everything's so ridiculously expensive.
But lately, I've had some clients get some great wins, and people I've connected with through social media telling me that they are buying homes right now and actually getting great deals. They're negotiating seller concessions. They're getting help with rate buydowns. And in some cases, they're locking in homes for less than listing price. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking, there's no way I can buy in this market, I want to share some perspective that might surprise you. In this video, I am walking you through what's actually happening right now, from rising inventory and price reductions to seller incentives and rent trends. I'll also talk about why none of this really matters if you're not financially ready, and how to know when you are. And hey, if this kind of insight is helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another video. It really helps more people find the information they need, and plus, I really appreciate it. So let's jump in. First up, let's talk about housing inventory, because this is one of the biggest shifts we've seen over the last couple of years. As of April 2025, active listings across the country are up over 30% year over year. Total unsold inventory, including homes under contract, is up nearly 20%, and new listings coming to the market, these are also up about 9.2% compared to the same time last year. So what exactly does that mean for you as a home buyer? Well, it means more options, more homes to choose from, and less pressure to make an offer the minute you walk out of a showing. Homes are also sitting longer. On average, nationally, homes are spending about 50 days on the market. That's giving buyers time to breathe, compare, and negotiate. All of this added inventory is also having another effect. Sellers are dropping their prices. In April alone, 18% of active listings had price reductions, the highest percentage for any April since at least 2016. So not only are buyers seeing more homes on the market, they're seeing more realistic and achievable pricing too. Let's zoom in on a few local markets where these changes are especially noticeable. In Phoenix, inventory is up over 33%, and about 31% of homes have seen price cuts. In Tampa, prices have dropped 3.6%, with inventory rising more than 20%. Austin and San Antonio are seeing similar trends, price drops between 2 and 4%. And in Raleigh, inventory has jumped 42%, with nearly a third of listings reducing their original asking price. We're seeing this pattern across the country. This isn't isolated. It's a sign of a market rebalancing. And when sellers have more competition, that means you as a buyer have more leverage. Now, this doesn't mean that homes in every city or region are going to be sitting on the market and dropping their prices. In many areas, homes that are updated, in good condition, and in desirable locations, well, these are still selling very quickly, many at or over asking price with multiple offers. Now let's talk about something that nearly disappeared during the pandemic housing frenzy: seller concessions. According to Redfin, in the first quarter of 2025, over 44% of home sales included a seller concession, whether that was money towards repairs, closing costs, rate buydowns, or something else entirely. So why does this matter? Well, it matters because these concessions can save you as a buyer some real money. They can be used to cover your closing costs, offset repair expenses, or one of the smartest moves right now, buying down your mortgage rate. Let's say your lender pre-approves you at a 6.5% rate. The seller might pay a few $1,000s towards points that bring your rate down to 5.5% or even lower depending on the program. That will lower your monthly payment and make the home more affordable long term. This is why working with a skilled agent who understands how to negotiate for these benefits is so important, because these opportunities are back on the table. Now I know what you're thinking, but what about interest rates? Fair question. No, interest rates are not headed back to 3%, and they won't be anytime soon. But here's the good news. Rates have at least stabilized. Most of the major forecasts agree that we're staying in the 6.3 to the 6.5% range through the rest of the year. Fannie Mae is predicting 6.3. The Mortgage Bankers Association is right around 6.5, and NAR expects about 6.4%. So if you've been waiting for a big drop, it may not come. But you don't need rates to fall to win in this market, especially if you're negotiating concessions that help reduce your rate anyway. Now, just because the market is shifting doesn't mean you should rush out and buy a home before you are ready. I can't stress this enough. Make sure your financial house is in order before you buy a home. That means that you have a steady job with stable income. I know in this economy, steady employment isn't a given for anyone, but if you feel secure in your job, that's the first step. Next, you've got a solid down payment. You've saved ideally at least 5 to 10% depending on your loan type. And if you can get to 20, that's even better and could pay off big time. Next, you have budgeted for closing costs, which usually run between 2 and 5% of the purchase price. So for a $300,000 home, that's anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000. Now that will cover things like appraisal, title fees, lender charges, and prepaids like insurance and taxes. And you need to make sure that you have a strong emergency fund. I recommend having at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up after you close. That way, if something unexpected comes up, whether it's a job change, a car repair, or the furnace goes out, or the roof leaks, you're not suddenly in financial panic mode. You should never feel like you are stretching just to get in the game. Buying a home is a big move. You don't want to be one unexpected expense away from regretting your decision. The people who get into trouble are the ones who jump in before they are truly ready. Be thoughtful. Be prepared. And if the time is right now, this market is giving you more power than it has in years. One last thing to consider, especially if you are currently renting, in a lot of cities, rents are still rising. And in some cases, the monthly cost of renting is now equal to or higher than owning. So if your lease is coming up, now is the time to run the numbers. Talk to a lender. Get a sense of what you could qualify for and what a mortgage might look like compared to your current rent. You might be surprised. And remember, if the seller helps cover your closing costs or buy down your rate, the upfront cost to buy could be a lot more manageable than you expect. So to wrap this up, here's what we are seeing so far in 2025. Inventory is up. Buyers have more options. Price reductions are happening across the country. Seller concessions are back, and they can really help lower your costs. Interest rates seem to be stable, and we're finally seeing a more balanced market. This isn't a crash, and we probably won't see a crash anytime soon. This is a correction, and honestly, that's a good thing. If you've been waiting for the right time to explore buying a home, this could be it. Now, what do you think? What are you seeing where you live? Are homes taking a bit longer to sell? Are they dropping price? Let me know in the comments below. If you are in the Cleveland area and want help figuring out your options, I would love to connect. And if you're somewhere else, I have a great network of agents across the country that I can introduce you to. And if this video helped you out, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another video. And if you're still in research mode, check out this video right here that talks about red flags to watch out for when buying a home. Thanks so much for watching. I'm George Poporad, and I'll see you next time.